Before we begin, thank you very much to Pixels and Creatures for joining the Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/TJOmega. As always, guys, I really do appreciate the help, and it genuinely is what's keeping the channel afloat, keeping the content coming each and every day, and I hope to keep it coming for as long as I can get away with. Today, we are going to go back to Thingiverse. Kinda. So a while back, I did a video finding all kinds of weird Transformer items that you could download off Thingiverse to print out for your very own ownership. Well, since that video came out, I've gotten a 3D printer of my own. I have not, unfortunately, gotten a decent second webcam, but hey, we'll work with the one down here that's actually like really nice and high quality. But the point is, now that I have a 3D printer of my own, it's a basic Ender 3, by the way. Just a little starter model just to see how I take to it. I've taken to it very well so far. But I thought, let's just show off the kind of stuff that I've been doing with a 3D printer. In a world where TJOmega can make whatever he wants, let's see what I've actually made in that time. So, a few things popped out to me as obvious, as like these are things that I have really wanted to do, though of course I am limited by what I am capable of downloading, as I'm not the best 3D modeler. I'm not a 3D modeler at all, really. But one of the things that popped into my mind were O-metals, because I've always wanted a way of having just stacks and stacks of cell metals the way they did in the show. And Thingiverse has someone who has created an entire system to create whatever combination of metal that you want. Now, I will admit, the system that they have created, I'm not really a fan of. So the idea is that it is multiple components, if I can actually get one of these out. So it is a rim that you have to print twice, glue together, and then a back piece goes into one side and a front piece goes into another in order to create your metal. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that the metals that this person has produced, as much work as went into them, a lot of them do have errors. The Taka metal, for instance, here, which I really should turn down the, hang on. I'm just realizing just how bad this is. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay, there, a little bit, turn the exposure down so it's not blinding everybody. But you can see with the Taka metal, there's an extra rim that's not supposed to be there. The backings are all incorrect. This is not what a cell metal backing looks like. The models, the way you print them out, some are the wrong size, so you have to know how to resize them to fit. They come out way too thick and not the right size, so they're not going to work in an O-metal holder or an O's driver. They leave a lot to be desired. Now, you can resize them. And this is what I've done here. Like, this is like, if I had another rim here, which I have somewhere, I kind of lost the other rim. This would be the size of a DX cell metal, roughly. It can be fine-tuned a little bit, but for what this is about as close as I could get that. But it's really not going to do what I needed to do, which is to create just piles and piles of cell metals. So I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out the best way of actually producing that for myself. So that was the first thought that crossed my mind, and I'm still thinking about this, so we still have to come up with some other way of handling it. I do know why that system was made, of course. You know, that way you can have cell metals or core metals, but it's still a little bit messy the way it all works. So something else that came to mind to actually produce, as far as here, let's just keep it all on screen just so there's stuff to look at. Something that just came up, of course, is cyber keys. Because I've always wanted some kind of cyber key for myself. So I had to get a little bit of help. Trent Troop actually already did some work on creating cyber keys. So he was nice enough to let me commission a few that were like proper replicas. So just to see how my printer handled small size, went ahead and tried to print an actual cyber key. It's not exact replication, but it is very, very, very close. If you see, so we have 2 there. So you can see, like, I like my metallic green. I wish this was, I wish autofocus worked better. That's what I wish. It will work, though. It would actually replicate and replace the Cyberkey. It is a little rough. An Ender 3 is not a great 3D printer, so the fine detail is missing here. But I wanted to see how it could print, like, tons of these, so I printed out a ton of them. I'm not doing anything with them. This is all just for my own personal gratification. Just so I can have hordes of Cyberkeys lying around. You can see I've tried painting some extra colors just to see how it looked. But this was not even my end goal. My end goal was to have something that I've always dreamed of and always wanted to have since I saw them in Cybertron, but I wanted a full-size one. I wanted a 1-to-1 scale replica Cyberkey. I am the ruler of the jungle planet now, guys. I forgot to tell you I got a promotion. This one still needs a few more coats of paint in order to really like pop. You can see there's still too much green showing through, obviously, but this is just awesome to me. Like that's about the size you saw him in the show, at least when you compare him to like Optimus Prime or something. So that is cool. Yes, I want to make the others. I already have the red sitting at the shop, so Speedia is up next, and then I need purple for Gigalonia, I need metallic blue for Earth, and then I need to figure out if I'm going to do the Autobot or Decepticon key. We'll figure all that out later. So, at some point I wanted to be able to create my own custom cyber keys, however. That didn't go so well, so like my first test print, I tried out the Giant Planet key, and you can see like it didn't print any logo on it, and there's a few other things wrong with it. So this was growing pains. This was learning what not to do with a 3D model. So that one didn't work out too well. However, I redeemed myself a little bit with this pretty thing. So I actually have a TJOmega Cyberkey that is 1-to-1 scale. The Giant Planet design is my favorite. It is very Metrocon reminiscent, so that puts me in a good mood. And again, I just really like the size. So at some point, I'm going to design and model my own custom design, something that is very me or has a lot of me in it. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it once that design is made, but you get the general idea. Like, I wanted a cyber key of me. So that is exactly what I have, and yeah, at some point I just want a ton. At some point I just want a ton of giant cyber keys. But this kind of started a whole thing of like, what can I put my logo on? So I came up with like coins before I had the metallic red available to me. I think that actually looks really cool with the red, like with the silver logo with the red backing. I think that actually looks really cool. So yeah, this was just me like just creating a coin. You know, maybe the beginning of what would be like a TJOmega O medal, for instance. I was looking at like whatever kind of like Kamen Rider devices that I could just like impose my logo onto. But there's only so many that works with. So I didn't want to go too far with it. You know, like, well, you know, why would I like put my Omega logo in like, for instance, a Progrise key when I could just, you know, print a sticker. So I'm still kind of looking around. You know, what else can I throw my logo onto, essentially? Because I just love seeing this logo that has followed me around since literally high school. I drew this logo. I've been loving just seeing what all I can put it on and just like see it in real life. So that's part of the fun. In other printing experiments of mine, I wanted to print my D&D character. This is Renard, my Tiefling Ranger. Renard was designed specifically for our digital game. So unlike most of my D&D miniatures, he did not have a mini made at Hero Forge. Ward was meant to be a in real life game, and then the pandemic hit, so that stopped. So he has a real life mini. Mirari has a real life mini. This boy does not. But I always wanted to have a giant version of one of my characters. So Renard was the one I had available. I'm actually kind of surprised at all the detail that came out on it, considering the Ender 3 can't do like super fine detail without some modifications. So I'm quite thrilled with how it came out. At some point, I do want to paint him up so he can look as nice as possible, like a little tiny Renard statue. Because that's not egotistical of me at all, making a statue of my own D&D characters. Not that this is any proof of like me not being egotistical. Look, seeing my logo on a whole bunch of stuff, you know, just saying. One thing I found on Thingiverse that I know, I'm sure a lot of people wanted me to do, and I actually just like said it, like, why doesn't this exist? Well, in 3D print, it does. It's not finished yet because I needed red for it, and the red just came in the mail yesterday. But if you notice the shape of this, you might recognize this. If you don't, here, I'll put another one beside it. You might recognize a little bit more. Or if I like spread them out like this, you might recognize it a little more. I am printing a 3D Laserbeak. There you can see the little squawker's head. So this one has been this one's been kind of a tough nut to crack. The sizing for all like the little pegs and sockets that it has been kind of inconsistent and kind of difficult to work with. So I've got a whole bunch of these parts made, you know. So I've got, you know, I've got all the black printed so far. You know, I've got the legs built. They weren't on the model. The feet are on the wrong side, like on the example model. So these feet, see how it's slightly misaligned? They should be on the opposite feet in order to prevent that, I believe. I might be incorrect about that, but it looks like they should have been on the opposite sides. But either way, it looks really weird. It looks weird, and I'm not a fan of it. And the pegs, the pins are so tight that I don't think I can get them out in order to fix it. I would have to reprint all the leg parts in order to correct that particular flaw. So I'm not really up for that. This is just kind of like me testing to see how it works. I've got some extra parts starting as well. You know, there, you know, lies, you know, one of the thrusters that has already been printed. Need to print the other one. Need to reprint the guns because the guns printed vertically with very thin shafts, which meant they were very fragile. Both of them broke on me, just like storing them in a box, which is not what you want out of a 3D print. So I need to redo those later with a more solid fill, hopefully make them a little bit more durable. But yeah, at some point, keep an eye out on Twitter. I might have like a gigantic Laserbeak. It's not full size. I actually realized that I could upscale it and have it like as big as it would be if I were Megatron, like to perch on my arm or sit around. It would take a ton of plastic and a ton of print time, but it might actually be like, it might be cool enough that I actually want to see it in person. And now I'm kind of like waiting, like, who's going to make Ravage? Not the G1 cassette Ravage, but like who's going to make like, I was not even Masterpiece because that might be too complicated. Give me the Universe 2 Ravage that came with Hound, because it's still the same size, but it actually it's like an actual 3D cat. That would be cool. That would be cool. So still waiting on that. As you can see, like my hoard pile of like printed plastic is building up here. So there's one more thing to show, and I think this is like my favorite thing that I have made so far, because I'm also trying to figure out what can I make for the shop. You know, so what did the shop specialize in? Action figures, Funko Pops, and Pokemon cards. So amongst all of that, what can I make? And my first thought was, I'd really like to sell my customers some way of properly displaying their cards, because the only way to really display a card securely now is in a slab. If you want to send it away for PSA grading, most people can't afford that. They don't want to wait months and months, like 6 months, to get it back from PSA or Beckett or wherever you send it off to be graded. People, you know, most people just afford a top loader. So I designed a frame for a top loader. So if you, this slides in. You can see it stops right where the card stops. Centers everything perfectly if it's in a sleeve and a top loader. And then we clip the top on like so. And that is your framed Pokemon card. And this was super cool. And this I did 3D model myself. The groove inside and everything, all of this, I measured it out and I actually did it properly and studied up how to actually make it work, you know, in like 1-to-1 scale inside Blender. So this is all me, and I'm like, it's simple. Don't get me wrong. I know as far as 3D models go, super simple. And I am definitely not a pro at this, and this is not perfect. If I show you the silver version, you'll notice the defect in here where that little line there's a edge that is going through and actually affecting the model. You can see it on the bottom as well, and it happened on the other side as well. And I'm not exactly sure how that happened. And when I try to go in and take that edge out, one, it doesn't remove from the model. I click the edge, I hit delete, and it doesn't do anything. I try to remove the face that it is against, and then and then put the face back on. That makes the model come out wrong. Like it starts printing the printer starts missing the lower half of the base, even though along through here, even though it shows up in my slicer program, it doesn't actually print. Don't know what causes that. Have to research that too. But this is pretty close. Like, this is actually I think this is a pretty cool thing. I think it's a pretty cool thing. So, as you can see, like, I'm throwing my 3D printing at just about every interest I have and then inventing a few new ones. And I'm kind of curious what else is out there that can be printed. There's a few things I have my eyes on. I need the right colors for it. And I need the money for it, because there's a lot of colors I need. There's a lot of filament colors on my Amazon wish list now, just because I want to make as much stuff as possible. But it's exciting to come up with. It's been an exciting world to explore. It's been fun to like set something up at the shop, come back the next day, and there's just like a thing that didn't exist before. So that has been a lot of fun. And I'm printing something right now I'm super excited for. But I'll let you, like, I can't let you in on that. I can't let you in on that at all. And then there's me trying to figure out Blender so I can actually 3D model my own stuff. Like, that's also an exciting prospect. But that's all for another time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble about how much I'm like way into my 3D printing right now. And in the comments below, this will be fun. I'd like suggestions. Like, what is a good thing to 3D print? What is something you printed that was enjoyable, or just something you found online that you think would be something like super cool? I'm actually like looking for like whatever like catches my intrigue as to what to print next, because like I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I love doing this. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for anyone who left a suggestion. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow, and I will have something else for you. Until then. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.